Hey guys, for sake of reality here. In this video, we'll be looking into setting up stamina with a stamina bar, stamina drain, and stamina recovery. We'll also set up recovery delays, differences in stamina recovery while you're idle or moving, so you'll be able to sprint and drain your stamina. And depending on if you're walking or you're sprinting, it will drain your stamina faster or slower. We'll also look into setting up jump events for stamina drain and other actions as well you'll be able to use that for. In this setup, we'll look into using timers to enable and disable these events for stamina recovery and drain, which will allow us to trigger things without actually using the tick event. If you like my videos and haven't already, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you get notifies when I upload new videos. Without further ado, we'll get into setting this up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is create a blank project. I created one in 5.3. I'm just going to move this project out of the way. So I have a blank project here in 5.3. And we'll want to come into our blueprints folder. I'm just going to quickly organize this a little bit. We're going to want a UI folder. And we'll just throw our character in here. Make sure to fix up revectors. Not sure we needed that right there, but first thing we'll do here is create a user interface. This is going to be just call this HUD. And I'm just going to drop a canvas panel on here. And a progress bar. And I'll size that to 515. And I'm just going to set the percentage right here so we can see it actually working once we set it up. Style. And the background image, I'll just make a dark color and put this to like 0.5. So you still see it, but it's not fully there. You can set whatever color you want. Fill color will be green for health. And I'm also going to show you how to set up a radial slider. So it's basically the same thing. So you want to grab your radial slider. Let's set the size to 100 and 100. Oh, you also want to make sure to anchor these down here so they don't get messed up on different screen sizes and stuff like that. So now we'll scroll down. I'm just going to set the value of that. Set this to 0 and set this to 360. We'll create a circle. And if you want it to start from the top instead of the bottom like this, we can set this to 180. So now it will move in this direction as it drains. And I'm just going to remove that little dot right here on top. And come down to style, set this to 10. And the slider bar color I'll do similar to here. It's just the backgrounds. 5. Oops. No, it's just that value. So as it drains down, it will fade out. And slider progress color we will set to green. So it's like a health bar. I'm just going to grab the same color green here. And I believe that's it for just setting up the visuals on them. Can't really see that bar though. Let's put it to 0.7. The background's black, so you probably just can't see because of that. I'm just gonna put this like that. So now we want to head over to our graph. First, we'll actually name these. So this will be the radial stamina bar. And I've already ticked on as a variable. And this will be the progress bar, and I'll just name it progress stamina bar. And we'll come over here, delete these, and on event construct, we will want to get owning on player pawn, cast character. This will get the owning pawn, the character that owns the HUD. And we'll promote this to a variable, so we have a character reference. And I'll just put owning character reference. Construct set to owning player. So now that we have that, we want to create a couple more events. Custom event. We'll name this one update stamina bar. And custom event update radial stamina bar. And we'll have 2 inputs on these that will be type float. One will be our current stamina. And one will be our max stamina. And since we'll be using values from 0 to 100, you'll want to, and the sliders use value from 0 to 1, we'll want to divide our max stamina by our current stamina, and that will give us a value from 0 to 1. And we want to get our progress stamina bar and our radial stamina bar. But from here, first we will set percent. And the percent will be these two make sure that's not a percent, and you have divide. Almost messed up there. So you want the divide, not the percent value, and then you will plug these in like this. And there you go. That's all we'll need to set the percent. And down here, we'll want to, instead of percent, so if you come over to the progress bar, on this bar it's percent as the value we're wanting to set, but on here it's value. So we'll want to search for value, specifically set value. And we'll want the function and connect this like that. We'll want the same inputs. Current stamina, max stamina. And we will divide those and just connect that, because the radial bar also has an input value from 0 to 1 by default. You can use a custom value, but it's just easier this way. a radial stamina bar. And that's everything for the HUD we'll need. Next, we will want to go into our inputs, actions, and I'm just going to quickly duplicate the jump and go IA underscore sprint, because this has everything we need for this to work. Except we'll just remove these in here. And now we will want to go back to default and we will add one. Just gonna make sure it's consume input. Actually, we'll want to come back in here. Sorry, there's a difference in the engine. Just noticed, so we'll want to pressed, released, hold, and hold. We'll just set to 0, but you can, because we won't really need to wait on anything while held. And we'll want to, yeah, it's because this is set to none. I want to set that to sprint. And this will be left shift. And we have our triggers set right here. We could also set them here, but I'm just gonna leave them in there. And now we'll come into my character. I'm just gonna move this over here. Inputs. In play. Actually, I'll do it because I'm gonna want to resize it after. So the first thing we're going to want to do here is set our our HUD. So create widget, and the widget we're going to want to create is our HUD. And we'll promote this to a variable so we can reference it later, because we're going to want to set the references to set the percentages and stuff on the progress bars. HUD ref. And for organization, I'm just going to do not edit. Any value that you don't edit, you don't have the instance editable, I usually just put in here because it's something that's set in here. It's not something you'll come over and click it and manually set like a float or something. That's, I'll show you what I mean later on, I suppose. Add to viewport. We don't really have many other variables to test with. And now we should have our HUD on our viewport. So we click play. We have our progress bars, but they aren't doing anything right now. So the first thing we're going to do is create a few functions. One will be add to stamina, used for stamina recovery. And the input for this function will be a float. And it'll be amount to add. So you can call this at any point, add or remove stamina. And we'll want a few variables. So we'll have our current stamina, type float, our max stamina. Now our current stamina is not a value that we'll manually set, so we'll put it in the do not edit, but our max stamina, so whatever our max stamina is when we spawn in, we'll have that value. So you can set this to 100 or 1,000 or whatever you want, because it'll just get a percentage value of it and update it. And on begin play, we want to set our current stamina to our max stamina. you load the game, it will set the current stamina to max stamina. So now we have those values. We can come in here and set our current stamina to, no, not max stamina. Our current stamina plus our input value and set that so it will add to our current stamina, whatever our value is plus our amount to add. And we will want to update our HUD. So we can get our HUD reference that we created and we'll update stamina bar. You can use either, you can pull in your radial stamina bar or the stamina bar. And you literally plug them in exactly the same way. So we will set current and max stamina. So you set them both like this, for example. I'm not going to do the radial bar for now. I'm just going to do that. So instead of plugging the update stamina, you do this one instead if you wanted that bar. But I'm just going to use this one for now. And finally, we want to do a quick check to prevent stamina from going above max stamina. So you want to get your current stamina, get your max stamina. And if they are greater than equal to, if your current stamina is greater or equal to your max stamina, it will just set your current stamina to your max stamina. Otherwise, it'll just do things normally. So there's our add stamina. And then we will want a remove stamina function. And this will be type float and mount to remove. And we'll just get our current stamina, set our current stamina. We'll subtract. And another useful thing for functions, say you have some inputs and you don't want to have a bunch of lots of strings connecting everywhere, you could also, anything that's here, you can go mount to remove, and it gets this variable right here, and it reads from here. So any input value here will get sent here. Makes it a little bit easier and cleaner. You can also do the same thing in here too if you really wanted to. Mount to add. Just makes it a little bit cleaner. Now we'll remove the input amount from stamina. Now we want to update our stamina bar again. And like I said, you can either call either or, depending on if you want to use the radial or the progress bar. And current stamina, max stamina. Then I'll update the progress bar, and now we'll do a check to make sure stamina doesn't go below 0. So we'll get our current stamina is less than or equal to 0. And if true, current stamina we will set to 0 just to make sure it doesn't go below 0. Okay, so we have our add to stamina and remove from stamina. The next thing we'll do is work on setting up a quick sprint so we can enable our add and remove from our stamina. Before we do that, we will, so when you load into the game, our bars are like that, so we'll want to update them when everything starts up. So we'll get our HUD, update stamina, we can choose which one. I'll be using this one. And we'll just plug in our current stamina and our max stamina. We'll set the initial values for the stamina bar. That'll be everything for the begin play. Just gonna move this on top of here, like that. So we will want our IA underscore sprint enhanced input. And I'm going to make a custom event. Let's call this sprint. And there will be a Boolean value in here. We'll call this sprinting. And first we'll put a branch. So if it's true, if it's false. And we'll also want to create a variable for sprinting. So this will be a Boolean. And if it's true, we'll set sprinting to true, and if false, we'll set it to false. Just gonna bring this down to give myself some room. And then we'll want to set our speeds. So before we do that, I'm just gonna set my default speed to 200 for like a walking speed. So now when I load into the game, I'll walk instead of sprint around. Or jog, I guess that was. So from here we'll get our max walk speed. Set that. And this will be our sprinting speed. I'm just going to promote this to a variable, name this sprint speed. And this is going to go into do not edit. This can be editable. For instance, editable meaning you can edit it per character. You could always edit it. 600. I'll set my run speed, sprint speed to. And I'll copy this, except for this one. Control click to get rid of that. And from here, I'll just drag out promote to variable walk speed. This will also be allowed to be instance editable. And I'll set that to 200, which is my default walk value. And last, just for the sprint, we're going to be adding more to the sprint. But for now, we're just going to test out or have the movement set up. So complete and started. Sprint is So now I hold shift, I'll sprint, and if I let go, I'll start walking again. It's not draining the stamina bar, but now you can see that it updated the initial values right there. Now that we have the basic sprinting started, we'll look into setting up our stamina drain and stamina recovery. So we'll be using timer handles for this, which are very useful when you allows you not to have to use the tick event for things such as stamina draining and recovering and or blood loss, random things like that. But they're definitely very useful when it comes to removing the tick event for a lot of just things that don't always need to be running or being checked. You can trigger them at any point and disable them at any other point. So first we will create a custom event and we'll call this start stamina recovery, and it will have two inputs, type float, stamina restore amount, and restore speed. From here we'll drag out and promote this to a variable because we'll need to use this in the event below that's being triggered in the timer, because you can't directly set a value on a timer, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean when we get into that. So we'll set this and we'll drag out set timer by event. So we have our event here. We'll create an event. You can either drag out add event, custom event, add to stamina over time. But you can also disconnect this and have any other event here and just event dispatcher, create this instead, and you can call any other event or even functions. So we'll add to stamina over time. And for this event, and also you'll notice there's no way to plug this value into the amount we want to remove in the timer. So we'll want to add to stamina. So there's no way to like connect these while the timer is being triggered. So we create this value, and this will be in the do not edit section, and stamina restore amount. So now it's being set here, timer's being triggered. We'll set this to looping, restore speed, and we'll want to promote this to a variable. So now we can access this and disable it at any point. I'm just going to create an event, one more event for stamina recovery, and this is going to be stop stamina recovery. So we got the start and stop and the add, and for the stop, this is a do not edit because you can't edit that. We will clear and validate timer by handle, and but we'll only do it it's active. Is timer active by handle. Hold B and click to create a branch. There we go. Just gonna comment two of these together. Start slash stop stamina 3. And this one's just going to be add to stamina over time. It's triggered by the stamina recovery timer. Let's comment this off as stamina recovery. So now we have the stamina recovery set up. We will want to set up the stamina drain. So we'll need 3 custom events again. Start stamina drain. Stop stamina drain. And remove from stamina over time. So from here we will want 2 inputs that are type float. Stamina drain amount over time. And drain speed. And like the other one, we'll promote this to a variable. And don't like how it puts spaces in there. And this is a do not edit as well. Set timer by event. And now we already have this event created, so we can go event dispatcher create. Remove stamina over time. This will be looping, plug in our speed. We'll want to promote this to a variable. Drain. Stamina drain timer handle. Let's up the other one. And just like the other one, we'll do this by handle. I believe that's, yep, it's timer act by handle. And validate timer by handle. There's our start slash stop and drain timer. And now for the remove from stamina, this one's going to have a little bit different, and it's going to have a movement check. So you can prevent stamina while you're not moving. So we'll want to get IA underscore move is your movement inputs for here. Forward, backward, left, and right. And we want to split this. Make vector 2D. Vector 2D length. And this will tell we're moving it all. Zero equals not moving. Movement check. Stamina drain is not moving. And from here, we'll just go remove from stamina. We'll get the stamina drain amount over time. There's our stamina drain. Now we can call this start and stop. Start recovery and start drain when we need to. We can also stop them when we need to. We'll also want to create one more check for movement stamina recovery. So this will allow you to set different recovery amounts depending on if you're moving or idle. So we have our movement stamina recovery check. And we can just come back here, grab this from our remove from stamina over time, and copy that whole thing, and paste it in here. We're actually not going to use a branch for this one, we're using a select node. And we're going to go down here to this select right here like that. So we give us a true and false. And start stamina recovery. Stop stamina drain. So I'm going to start recovery and stop draining. And this we can promote to a variable. We'll use it in other places, but for now here, create it here, stamina recovery speed. And plug this into the restore amount. And we'll promote this to a variable, and the true will be stamina recovery amount moving. Recovery amount idle. And we'll also want to set a value for this recovery speed. You can set this whenever you want. However fast you set this, that's how fast it will recover. I'm going to set it to 0.1. I'm saying my value is pretty small, so it has a smooth recovery. Doesn't look like it's skipping while it's recovering. It's 0.6, 0.2 for idle. That's what I have. You can play with these values. 0.6, and these three are editable. Okay, now we have all of our functions and all of our events done. I believe we can finish setting up our sprint. We're almost done here. So from here, we're gonna, if you're not sprinting, we're gonna do a check to see if we're moving or idle. And for sprinting up here, we will want to, once we start sprinting, we want to start stamina drain and stop stamina recovery. And the drain speed, set to 0.1. I want this to sprint to a variable, sprint stamina drain amount. So you can adjust this to however you want. But I'm going to set it to 0.5. And now we'll want to come over to our input move, drop this menu down here, and from started we will delay until next tick, just give it some time, and also on completed. And from here we'll drag out, we'll get our movement stamina. So when you release movement, it'll delay for a moment and trigger that. So this is sprinting. That's the sprint input. And now one more quick thing we'll set up. We will set up jump stamina drain, so you'll drain like an extra chunk of stamina. And we'll also set up minimum stamina required to jump and minimum required stamina to sprint. So say you wanted to wait till you at least had 5 or 6 stamina so people couldn't spam it as it's getting a little bit of stamina. So we'll do this. So first I want to disconnect these. We'll open this up, just bring this down. We'll also want to get our unlanded event, which is an event that's already there, and we'll create a boolean be jumping. Do not edit. We'll set this to false unlanded. I'll bring this down a little bit so we have more room. So when this is triggered, we'll want to create a branch. So be clicked, create a branch quickly. And we'll want to check greater than equal. So we'll check if stamina, our current stamina, is greater than equal. We'll create a variable. So jump stamina drain amount. The amount we'll be draining, say we're draining 15 stamina per jump. If you don't have that much stamina, you won't be able to jump. But if you do have it, we will trigger the jump, create a do once node, and then complete it. We will just come down like this, stop jumping when completed, and reset. And then after the do once, we'll create a branch and we'll put our jumping boolean that we created. So if we are jumping, do nothing. But if we aren't already jumping, set that we are jumping and stamina. Make sure it's not the overtime, it's this just node right here. And we'll use our jump stamina train amount, so 15. That is our jump stamina drain. And this jumping check just prevents it, so you kind of just like spam the keyboard and it drains stamina even if you're mid jump or something like that. Just to check, just make sure you're still in the air basically. And so that's our jump. It's gotten a little bit bigger right here. And now for our sprinting stamina drain check. So branch. Oops. We'll want to move this over a little bit, give us some room. And our current stamina is greater than equal to 5, for example. In set this value to everyone, you can promote it to a variable, manually set it. So if your stamina is below that value, you won't be able to sprint. And it won't trigger anything to do with sprinting. And I believe that's everything we'll need to do for stamina, sprinting, recovery, training, the additional input, which is the jump stamina drain, movement stamina check, so your stamina will drain faster if you're moving compared to walking, or moving compared to idle. So I just actually found a quick bug that we're going to want to fix. One thing is plugged in incorrectly here. If you go to stamina drain, remove from stamina over time. So right now it's checking if we are moving or not moving. We want to plug this in the false so we are moving. Because if it's going through true, 0 is not moving. And now we do some testing. Stamina drain. It'll come back slow because I'm moving. It'll come back faster when I stop. And there's jump drain. And if you were using the other bar would be draining around in a circle similar to this one. Yeah, that's about everything I wanted to show you for this video. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other new tutorial video uploads. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave those in the comments section below or join my Discord server using the link in the description. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next one.